All right, folks. You know how we love giving y'all informative information. We love doing our book stuff, our DIY stuff, aware, all kind of different videos. But today we got a serious one for you. I gotta thank my brother Andre, for throwing this one out. This is something I probably thought about, but it was something he motivated me even more to do. And so this is gonna be a serious video. This one's gonna be dealing with suicide. So we put some facts together. We put some actual real content, personal content with this. So as I said, for anyone out there that really needs help, you know now they actually have like the 911 for emergency. They actually got a helpline for suicide, and it's what?
988.
Yes, 988. And it's basically a suicide helpline. I didn't know that until I started doing my research. I was like, oh wow, they got a suicide helpline. Because you know why? It's become that relevant. It's become that important. It's become that daggone so much that is happening that I've always said this for years. You never know what another person is dealing with.
Exactly. I believe this mostly it falls on the men.
You think so?
My heart goes to all the men out there, especially for the ones that are suffering. What I'm saying is, my heart goes to the men. It's because
I mean, I know you mean for both women and men, anybody, but I get you got a personal reason why you say men.
Yeah, this is a specific things for me because a lot of men, nobody has a chance to hear them out.
Yeah.
They have a lot of issue.
Mm-hmm.
They keep everything so close to themselves that they can't speak to nobody because the society has a thing where men can defend themselves.
Yeah, women get all the help and men don't.
Yes, and men need everybody just like women and children.
You know what? That you said that there's an unwritten rule to touch on what you're talking about, and a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about out there, especially for you personally. There's an unwritten rule in society, and it goes like this: when you are a man, nobody's coming to help. That's how society has built it up, where it's like only women get help. Women get all kinds of help, but a man, fend for yourself. That's like one of my old videos. I titled it just that. Men are not expendable. And it's another video I call Stress. Both videos touches on suicide as well. But just check out that video. Men are not expendable. And the reason I did that video because, like you said, society has written men off. Like I said, when you are a man, it's an unwritten rule. When you're a man, nobody's coming to help. It's like you got to fend for yourself. So therefore, society acts as if, as a man, he's expendable. Men can't go get the same help that women get. I watched a video not too long ago where the guy asked the woman, if you didn't want your child, is it okay, you think, for a woman to get it up for adoption? And the lady said, of course, if you can't seem to provide and you want to live your life, go to college or pursue your life, it's okay for a woman to do that. He said, okay, well, how about if a man don't want to take care of his responsibility? The woman flipped. She said, no, a man, he has to take care of his responsibility. He said, but wait a minute, I'm applying the same thing that you just said, but you saying it's okay for a woman, but not for a man. So once again, if it's a man in need, guess what? Society, unwritten rule is when you a man, nobody's coming to help.
Exactly. And that's the problem with society. They think that because you're a man that you can handle any situation. And it's not that way. Especially even the people that comes from the army. They've been doing that for so many years. You know how many death falls behind them?
Women and men too, but I get what you mean.
But mentally, they're disturbed.
I like that you said that. That slipped my mind. Because that was part of my research, but you're right. The military have so much suicidal cases that is ridiculous. Now, you will actually have to do the research to find this because they're not going to always... See, they write it up as something else. They write it up as some type of overdose or whatever else to cover their tracks. But a lot of times it be suicide. Sometimes it don't be, and they write it as suicide. But it's like the military has so much suicidal cases. It's ridiculous. But I mean, we could go all day of this. I hope I reach out to some people out there to understand that we understand to some degree what some of you are going to, because I've always said that and I will always stand by that. Don't pass judgment on somebody else. Just because you may be strong, everybody else ain't as strong as you. You never know what somebody else is going through. And that person might be on the very verge of suicidal.
Exactly.
And everybody want to write that person off, man or woman. Say, oh, they was crazy. Why did they do that? You don't know what they dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. We should be their ears. We
Yeah.
should sit down and listen to them.
Yeah.
Make them feel like they're part of the importance, and maybe we can actually help out.
Yeah, and I like that they got their hotline now, 988. I'll keep saying it for a lot of y'all that didn't know about it, because I'm telling you, I didn't know until I did the research. Like 911 for emergency, now you got 988 for suicidal emergencies. But it's so much to talk on. Like let's talk about suicidal relationships. It's unfortunate. You got a lot of women. They may be in very abusive, battered relationships where their friends and family tell them you need to get out of that relationship. You are in an abusive, suicidal relationship, and it's unfortunate. Sometimes, a lot of times, the women stay, and before you know it, there has been so many cases where the guy eventually kills the woman, and the family and friends like, we told her to get out, but why wouldn't she leave? But once again, you never know that person's dilemma of what exactly they dealing with, why they haven't left. You know, sometimes it ain't always just physical. Sometimes when you break a person's mental state of mind so bad, like with the slavery, I don't mean to go there with that, but how do you think, look, you see how they mentally broke slaves back in the days so bad that they refused to go against the masters. Like we mentally gonna break you, and then we ain't gotta worry about the physical. The physical is easy. So to move along, it's so much. Even in this simple case, like I've even mentioned stuff like this. Take professional athletes, right? And I know this may sound silly, like where I'm going with this. Look at it. Almost every time you see professional athletes giving a helping hand out, and I'm sure they help all kind of people or whatever, right? But what is the most common people you see them help? Children and women. So once again, it comes back to that statement I said, the unwritten rule. When you're a man, nobody's coming to help. And I hate when I see it on TV. It's like, oh, we see this. I ain't gonna say no athlete's name. Oh, this big NFL star, this NBA star, or this tennis player. Oh, y'all always helping the kids in the neighborhood, right? That's good. And the women. Oh, you don't think the men need help? You see what I'm saying? It's just like we see them videos, them cops, always in the neighborhood with the basketball, football, playing with the little kids. You don't think them grown men would like y'all attention to a relationship?
Exactly.
Maybe you could change them young men from doing the nonsense that they're doing if it's genuine from the cop.
But once again, the society, the cops,
writes the man off.
They push the men away. And who is they gonna seek the help that they need?
Yeah, she's right. So suicidal is a serious thing, and this is not nothing recent. If you look at the statistics on suicidal and suicide, period, every year it has been increasing from the previous year and the previous decades. I mean, just think about it. We talk about historical stuff. Look at the Great Depression. During the height of the Great Depression, when the stock market crashed and a lot of these big rich wig cats was losing all their money, that's where that term came from. I can't take it anymore. And they was jumping out of buildings. They was doing it so much that they came up with a name for it. I forgot what the name was. But these big wigs, rich folks, they lost all of their finances. It became normal across the land to just jump out of the window and kill yourself. Suicide. That was a Great Depression. You see what I'm saying? But to move on for that, let's take even insurance. A lot of y'all gotta be careful. Like I said, I keep saying it. When a person is suicidal, you never know what that person is actually dealing with. They may be dealing with some type of Great Depression, some type of anxiety or whatever, and you quick to pass judgment on them, but you really don't know what's going on in their life. They may be at a boiling point. So when I mention even insurance, you got to be careful with that, family out there, because if you got a loved one that commits suicide and they got an insurance policy, you know, a lot of insurance policies, if not almost all of them, they will not pay out when they got a clause in there about suicide. You got to read your insurance policy, because there are some where it says you have to have the policy for about 2 or 3 years first before suicidal cases may be even looked at, to some degree. But a lot of insurance policies, they're not paying out if suicide was in the case. A lot of my videos, I like to go into books or movies, give an example. I'll give you another example with the insurance, for example, that kind of touches on it. Remember the old movie, The Exorcist? Remember, that was one of the scariest movies that scared the mess out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I hope I'm being informative to y'all out there and keep your attention. But the old movie, The Exorcist, right? The first one, even though there's many. I'm only talking about the first one. When the little girl, what's her name? Linda Blair. The demon was in her and all that. She was possessed. At the very end of the movie, remember the two preachers came in her room and they was like dousing her with the holy water and all that, and they were trying to get the demon out of her. Remember, he was like, "We rebuke you" and all that and whatever, right? And remember, the one priest, he was real stern with it, and he was throwing that holy water on her. The demon, he said, "Get into me, jump into me, leave this girl alone." And the demon jumped out of her and into him. And he immediately, he was possessed and he was trying to fight it. And he jumped out of the window committing suicide. And he fell down all those stairs. See, now, my point with this, even if you are a religious person, suicide is considered a sin because you're doing damage to your body. So when he jumped out of that window, the other priests know his fate in the afterworld, if you believe in that. Right. The priest ran down them steps real quick and caught his last words. And he said, "Do you understand what you have just done is considered a sin, even because of the circumstances?" And he said, "Do you ask the Lord for your forgiveness?" And the guy couldn't respond back. He was dying. And he just told him, he said, "Blink your eyes or squeeze my hand if you ask the Lord for your forgiveness for committing suicide." And sure enough, the guy, like, he squeezed his hand or whatever. And he said, "Okay, God will forgive you." If you're a religious person, that's why I brought that up. You know what I'm saying? It's just a movie. I always give you a movie example.
But that's a selfless way of acting as well, especially when, you know, you've got your family that means well and you're going to come out and commit suicide. You got to think things through. Especially on top of that we need to hear them out. You need to speak to someone. Don't get tired. Don't give up.
Yeah.
That's my best advice.
No, but that was great because when you said that's a selfish act, she's right. For a lot of you that's dealing with whatever type of anxiety, depression, whatever, right? To some degree, it is just a little, you know, get that help. Call that 988 hotline, suicide hotline. Because what you're not thinking about, look at that gecko, what you're not thinking about, to some small degree, this is not to diminish whatever issues you're dealing with, but to some small degree, it is a selfish act coming from that person. Why? Because you're not taking in consideration how this would affect your family, emotionally, physically, morally, financially. Remember what I told you about the insurance? They won't pay out. You know, what you do, this is going to affect your family. They're going to be all broken up, the fact that you took their life. This will put them financially in debt, morally messed them up, physically they probably can't function the way they used to, emotionally they just going to be a wreck, all behind what you did. So you got to take all this into consideration and look for that 988 suicidal hotline. It's something to definitely consider because a lot of people are dealing with it. Look at Danny Garcia, the boxer. Just recently, he had lost a fight, right? And they said, "Oh, he making excuses because he lost the fight." Maybe
I was surprised you had told me that. I didn't know.
But after the fight, these was his words. Quote, he said, "I've been dealing with depression and anxiety lately. I just been dealing with a whole lot. I was dealing with a lot." See, now the average person will say, "Ah, he said that because he lost the fight." Nah, but see, you never know what another person is going through. So how dare you judge and say it's because whatever silly reason that you making up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I felt him when he said that. I said, "Wow." This was a man live on TV. He said this live in an interview. And I didn't find that fake at all because you don't know what he's going through.
So you imagine how you felt about this one person, about the boxer?
Yeah.
You know how many, if you was to really put yourself out there and see how many men have certain situations going through,
that's a good
you're going to
point.
feel for them. Why? Because we don't give too much of thought
for the man,
how men can go through so much,
and that's why you're right. That's why I felt it.
Living in a life with a lot of pressure for them.
Yeah,
they gotta seek help on their own. On
their own, because once again, that unwritten rule is when you a man, nobody's coming to help. And so when Danny Garcia, he came out his own free will, he was down there crying when he said it. I felt his pain, because I know he felt that too. When you a man, don't nobody take you seriously. Ain't nobody coming to help.
So everybody needs somebody.
Yeah. And a lot of depression, you know, it's like Rather, some people think going with those drugs or the alcohol is going to um, solve their problems, whatever problems it may be. But nah, all you're doing is multiplying those problems when you seek out drugs, alcohol, whatever other activities to try to suppress whatever depression and anxiety that you're dealing with. The drugs and alcohol is not going to help. You need that 988 helpline, a support system, or whatever the case. That's what you need. I mean, even like I said, we can go all day with the suicidal stuff because a lot of people don't know what the next person is going through. I'm gonna give you one when I was a child. I remember when I was, well, a teenager. I remember when I was in high school. I remember I got real cool with this one particular girl, Becky, right? I got real cool with her to the point she started opening up with me with stuff. Like, we got a real good relationship, you know, because I was relatively somewhat intelligent, at least I like to think so. I don't like to brag, but, you know, and I guess that's what got us close because, you know, once she started being around me, she was like, you know, you actually really smart, but you like to act like the clown in the class. I don't know, why do you do that? I've seen your work. Like, I used to hear that a lot. Like, you purposely down yourself. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, me and her got cool, right? And when we got cool, I remember one day she rolled up her sleeve because she was telling me all her personal problems at home and this and that, but she never quite went all the way with it. But I knew it had to be something severe. So one day she rolled up her sleeve and she said, "You don't understand what I'm dealing with." Because I was like, "Yo, come on, Becky, you constantly," that ain't her real name, I'm just going with Becky. I said, "Yo, you be acting like you got all these problems." I said, "Everybody got problems." She said, "No, but you don't understand." You know, and she actually about to break down. I remember she rolled her sleeve up and she said, "You see this? You think it's a game? You think I'm playing?" And I was like, "What's that?" And it was a whole bunch of cut marks, right? So I said, "Damn, what the heck up with you?" She said, "I tried to kill myself." And I was like, "What?" Now you gotta remember, I'm mature now. But at the time I was young, adolescent, everything was a joke, and I ain't take stuff serious. So when she showed me that, and being that me and her cool, I said, "What's up then?" She said, "You think it's a joke? You think it's a game? I tried to kill myself 3 times. They had me in a psychiatric house before and this and that and all this, right?" So I said, "Damn." Then she showed the other arm. She said, I said, "Get out of here." I said, "You really?" She said, "Yes. I lost a lot of blood and this and that." So my silly butt, I said, "You dead serious? You tried to kill yourself?" Now remember, like I said, we was cool. So, and I was silly. So I said, "Damn, you trying to kill yourself?" "Well, evidently you ain't that good at it because you still is," right? She's like, "You son of a bitch," right? But it was the healing part. We joked about it. She's like, "Look, don't play like that. I don't find that funny, you know." But we talked. But like I said, I was a young, ignorant, silly cat at the time.
But you know, she was crying. She was crying out.
Yes.
Figuratively speaking,
Yes.
she was crying out for someone.
Yes.
And she actually looked at you in some
That she was
type of
opening
way
up. You're right.
Yeah, that she felt that she could speak up.
And after the joking,
comfortable.
honestly, me and her had more meaningful conversations. We had more fulfilling conversations where she did start opening up to me, and it was a lot of personal stuff that she told me that I wouldn't dare put out there. It was like, wow. Once again, you never know what a person is going through because some of the stuff she told me, jokes need to be locked up. Jokes seriously need to be locked up. What was going on with this girl? And it was like, wow. Remember. I just give you a hint. Remember, what was his name? Tom Hanks in the movie Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Remember what was happening to his friend when she was just a little girl, when she was going back home.
Oh yeah.
I'll just give you a little hint. That was some of the stuff. I said, "Yo, you serious?" Here it is. We was only in like the 10th grade. I said, "Yo, that's cool." You ought to open up with me like that. But just think about it. Even that little kid in high school. Even that little kid in elementary school. You know, it's even been children suicides? Because people go, nah, yes. When a little kid is getting bullied and he has no support system, he has no defense, he has no big brother, he has no cousin, he has no friends, he's not in the in crowd, and the bully at the school just keep messing with him. That be the kid that when he walking down the hallway and he sees the bully Billy, he's like, "Man, I'm gonna just go this other way." In the cafeteria, no, I'm gonna go over here. Because he has nobody. See, this was back to again what I said. You never know what somebody else is going through.
Exactly.
And they might be on the verge of suicidal. So instead of taking that route, because we all seen the bully in school. Matter of fact, there's another one of my videos. I'm hoping this video touched some of y'all and it helped some of y'all. That was another 2 of my videos you could go to. It will, I guarantee you, be helpful. One is called Standing Up to Fear. And the other one is a bully one. What is it called? Bullies? I think it's just called Bullies or something like that. I think it's just called Bullies. But it's two of my videos, and they both touches on suicidal thing too. Because somebody being bullied, could you imagine you're a person, you can't protect yourself, you don't have the means to protect yourself or the support system or nothing like that. Those be the people sometimes to be like, man, I'm just gonna give up. I don't got nobody coming for me. I don't got nobody helping me.
Well, they are afraid to even speak up for the simple fact that they know they're not going to get the help that they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a shame. I mean, my heart goes to people that are going through suicidal.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially, once again, I gotta say, I mean, for
the
both
men.
ways, but for more men.
No, I get what you're saying. And coming from you, a woman, that it means a lot to a lot of men out there if they watch this video, because it's for any and everybody, woman, man, and child. But however, I get what you're saying. It's like they give so much to women. Like a lot of people, like I said, look at the welfare. The women get this and it. Look at WIC. Do y'all even know what WIC stand for? WIC. Women, infant, child. You see? This is how the government do. Everything is for the woman, but a man, nah, you gotta fend for yourself. So once again, like I said earlier, when you a man, it's an unwritten rule. Nobody's coming to help. Look at all those shelters when for the homeless. They grab so many people, and in most cases, women and child. Men, oh, it's only a few of y'all we could take, and then after that, the door's shut. It's like, wow, men, y'all always just do that, and you don't think this man is on the verge of just letting go of everything?
Do you know that there was a program like that about homeless? It was a family. It was a boy. The boy was older than his 2 little sisters.
Yeah.
And the mother, and they lost where they were evicted. So they went in to seek some help where they have places to go to sleep.
Yes.
Do you know they told the mother the son can't come in, only the
girls,
the girl and the mother.
You see that?
The boy, which he was like 16, he was 15, 16
Go
years
fend
old.
for yourself.
He had to go out and he ended up sleeping under a bridge.
You see, this is society, what they do.
And when he literally he tried to find out a cover because he didn't have he left everything to his parents, to his mother and the daughters. He just took whatever he seen on the ground, and a tear just was that. Let me just go back a little bit on the situation. When they were standing right by the door,
about the kid,
with the mother and the 2 little girls, his sisters. Like
you said, they accepted the mother and the 2 girls, but not the 16-year-old son.
Exactly. The lady said, "I'm sorry, but these are the rules and regulations. I cannot allow him to come in here. It's only women and children." The mother looked and said, "I can't." She had the expression like, "I can't do this."
You know why she had that expression? You know why? Because she's looking at it like, how dare you say, oh, these are the rules, and I hate when people say this, I'm just doing my job.
Remember, he's a minor.
Yeah, now let the shoe be on the exact different foot, as they say. I bet you that same woman would be like, but how dare you? That's my son. He's 16 years old.
But here's what really broke my heart. He pretended to be strong. He said, "Mom, it's okay." And you clearly hear that he was about to break down because he's like, I don't want to be separated by my mom and my little kid. Yeah. So my little daughter, my little sisters. So he just embraced his mom and said, "Mom, I want to be okay, Mom. I want to be okay." And they left, and he's just standing there just seeing them go by inside. And then while he was walking, he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. He couldn't ask for nobody's help because he was out there all alone, bunch of homeless people. And then all of a sudden, when he finally grasped something he picked up, he shed a tear.
And see how you said he smiled to the mother like, "Mom, I'm gonna be okay." Remember the other video I did called "Smile"? Like old girl said, a lot of times people be hurt and they'll smile because it's a survival apparatus. That's what it really. When a person sometimes they smile and try to. I don't want to show you I'm hurt. I don't want to show you that I'm really in severe pain. I'm just going to smile. It's okay, Mom. And that's what he did.
But you know, it goes to show that ever since, and no matter how old you are as a man, no matter how, you gotta defend yourself. You gotta really be out there and say, you know, I have to do everything on my own, as
Yeah.
I don't have nobody. The society has abandoned me. The
Yeah.
society don't want to help me. But in reality, there are few people out there that is willing to help
That's
out.
true. But in most cases, society comes right back to that axiom I said earlier. When you are a man, no one's coming to help.
But that's
Not all, but in most cases,
Yeah, but-
no one's coming to help. And that's how society has built it up like that. Men have to fend for themselves. That's a shame. Because you're going to have this man on the brink of devastation, depression, anxiety, and all kind of nonsense he got to deal with because he's like, no, everybody abandoned me.
But you know what, Bobby? Going back to that story, the documentary about family being homeless. And do you know that I sat down watching this and it really broke my heart?
Yeah.
My heart went to the boy.
Yes.
Because I'm saying to myself, why is it that society has to push the men to defend themselves? And it catches me feelings because I know there's men out there yelling out for help and we're not giving it to them.
Yeah.
It is sad though.
It is.
And excuse me, I'm getting all emotional, but this is why we have to respect everybody's feelings. We have to reach out for them no matter what.
Yeah. Hey,
You know?
so we could keep going, but we just want to be informative, helpful, and remember, I know I said it a bunch of times, I say it again, there is a hotline, a 988 suicide hotline for those that need and want that help. Reach out to that hotline opposed to trying to take on the world yourself and deal with that anxiety, that depression, or whatever it is that's bringing you down and make you feel like you want to give up on the world. Dial that number. Look out for that help. 988 Suicide Hotline. On that note, subscribe, share, like, and comment. We appreciate it. Hope this was helpful for a lot of y'all out there. Get that help you need.
Exactly.